they're trying to act as if there's not a relationship here when there definitely was. And at the same time, Trump's Deputy Attorney General, former personal lawyer, is going to Ghislaine Maxwell to, I don't know, I mean, is it to find out new information or to get her to side with them in terms of trying to prevent some of these documents from being released?
Well, I think these photos from the pre-internet era have convicted Donald Trump of actually being a socialite in New York City. That's about all I can conclude from them. And that Jeffrey Epstein also was a socialite in New York City. And I think most people in the country are going to find that fairly unpersuasive. Ms. Maxwell is going to probably end up testifying before the House Oversight Committee. Tim Burchett, a member of Congress from Tennessee, passed on a voice vote subpoena to bring her there. So the Department of Justice going to question her again, I think, is probably not in the world's worst idea, since she's going to be on the stand in Congress here pretty soon.
But why would they want to question her again when she's already been questioned and convicted?
Well, I think right now you see a lot of people who are in the president's political orbit. I think they're self-appointed influencers more than anything else, are demanding that he release information. He's told Pam Bondi she should release everything she can. So I think this is them doing their due diligence. Todd Blanchett has been in the Justice Department for a very short amount of time. I agree it is normally kind of a thing a line attorney would do, but you can't on one hand say this is a high-profile thing, the president should be doing more. Oh, now he shouldn't have sent his top deputy attorney general.
Why did he wait till the last minute to do this? I mean, if they really cared about the Epstein files, they could have done this a long time ago, but they chose to do it now because Trump is under pressure. And the idea that he's just a socialite in New York City is preposterous. He appears 7 times in the Epstein flight logs. Epstein described Donald Trump as one of his closest friends. And Trump said that Epstein himself was a terrific guy who liked women on the younger side. Right. Not to mention the Wall Street Journal report about the naked drawings for his birthday.
There's only one solution. We got to get Epstein back. Oh, damn, he's still dead. Oh, my goodness.
And that's offensive. That's offensive, Kevin, because
I wish he could come back, but he's not coming back.
Even though he's dead, Kevin, there are real women and girls, who suffered because of him.
Kevin, everything else, put it out there.
What's the point, Kevin? Can I ask you?
Don't minimize this by joking about the fact that
he's dead.
But this is a Kevin, hold on a second.
He's dead tomorrow, too, by the way.
Let me try to understand.
Dead the day after.
So what's the point? What are you trying to say?
It's irrelevant now. It doesn't matter.
What's
irrelevant?
Hold on a second. What exactly is irrelevant?
Tell me how this affects the average American tomorrow morning.
I can tell you.
Help me realize some person struggling to feed their kids, put their child in college. Who gives a...
Is it possible? Is it possible that there's so much people can hold multiple things in their minds at the same time?
Thank goodness you're here.
So, look, I think everything that has currently transpired, okay, in regard to Trump's reaction to releasing the Epstein files, the fact that the House of Representatives is going to their 5-week break early just to avoid having to
Bring it home. It's not important yet. Bring it home. Tell me why it's important.
Well, let me finish, okay?
I'm working with you.
There's a lot of smoke that leads people to believe that there are all sorts of questionable people that might be tied to the government, in the government, and people want to know whether or not they're literally pedophiles who abused women or girls, I should say.
So Merrick Garland should have released it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Merrick Garland.
Well, if I could just add, just to bring it back to what DOJ normal policy would be. When DOJ conducts an investigation, you don't release those investigative files. It's not open to the public. Why? Because you don't want to name someone who cannot defend themselves in a court of law. That's not provable evidence yet. Here,
the dead guy?
No, it means, for example, if you interview someone, there's something called an FBI 302. You might interview a witness who says, I saw John Doe do X, Y, Z. If the government releases that information about John Doe can't defend himself in a court of law. That's typical DOJ policy here. But if you want something about a file that's going to be interesting, it's not going to be interviewing someone who's convicted. It's going to be looking about an investigative file, seeing what those agents uncovered in interviews, seeing the evidence that's in that file.
What specifically?
I'm not the one asking for the information either way. All I'm saying is if you want to know what's interesting about this case or any federal investigation, it's going to be more expansive than grand jury transcripts. It's going to be about what those FBI agents conducted.
Why?
Well, let me step back for a second. The reason why would...
I'm confused as to why you're confused by this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen,
I'm not confused at all.
I mean, you seem to be quite...
Put out all the files.
Because here's the thing. Listen, in in the world, people can hold multiple ideas at the same time. One, they can care about their financial well-being, and two, they can also care whether or not there are people who maybe should be prosecuted who participated in a scheme to abuse young girls. Those are both legitimate things to both are legitimate things to care about. And that's the question at hand. I think there's a separate question, which is, in this moment, should everything be released? I think Temidayo makes a case that there's a good policy that would say probably not. But Donald Trump is the one who wanted them released until he became president. That's the problem.
Well, wait a minute, though, Abby. If you're going to talk about hypocrisy, House Democrats have gummed up the Rules Committee this week and refused to let anything be considered to be brought to the House floor except this. These are the same Democrats who were wholly uninterested in this case for the last 4 years.
There are plenty of Republicans. There are plenty of Republicans who want to
evolve into another partisan nonsense story, because this is deeper than that. This is really deeper than that.
House Democrats won't let us move to